Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Good morning, American. It's Friday.
Welcome. So great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. So a big decision from the Supreme Court yesterday. Kind of came down as expected. We'll talk about that later on. The affirmative action thing. Done in colleges.
It's a shame.
Now what? Isn't it?
It's a shame.
Isn't it? Thank you. Now, no black people, no Hispanics can ever go to school again.
Ever.
Oh, man.
Ever.
It's just so terrible. Why? Why did they have to do that
I
to
don't
them?
know.
Without this special protection, there will never be another colored person at college.
Well, if you ask Erica Marsh, who is a proud Democrat, a former field organizer to elect President Biden, and a volunteer for the Obama Foundation,
right?
She tweeted yesterday, "Today's Supreme Court decision is a direct attack on black people.
Oh my gosh!
No black person will be able to succeed in a merit-based system."
What?
Which is exactly why affirmative action-based programs were needed. Today's decision is a travesty, all caps.
No black person can succeed in a merit-based system?
Racist much?
Oh, my gosh.
She got so ratioed on that.
I'd
never heard of her until that tweet.
Wow.
And now everyone knows who she is.
Oh, she's a flat-out racist.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But, I mean... That's what we were saying at the beginning, because that's how they feel about him.
Exactly.
I mean, it's great when their true colors come shining through, isn't it? So we got that. We have Joe Biden on abortion, which is fascinating. Just, I mean, unbelievable.
He's
unbelievable.
He's an interesting man.
Oh, my gosh. Interesting man. That's a really good way to put it.
That is a fresh take right there.
He's an interesting man. Yeah.
I know.
It's a good, fresh take.
Thank you.
It's not wrong.
No, it's not. Watching him walk off the set during the segment yesterday on MSNBC was fun too. That's fun. God, he's so stupid. He's so bad. Whoa!
The man's president of the United States.
Yeah, I know.
When he's done with you, he's done with you. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun to watch him walk. You can hear it. You can hear the sound he's making.
She had to wrap it up quick because they had to cover up the sound.
Yeah. All right, and today, of course, it's a Freaky Friday. We're talking about the flat Earth theory.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that with Dave Weiss, Flat Earth Dave, as Jeffy calls it. Is that what he calls himself?
That's what he calls himself. Yeah.
Okay. Flat Earth Dave is with us today, and he's going to lay out his case for why the Earth is flat. So, do we have him?
Is he ready to go?
Is he ready to go?
What do we got?
Yes, he can't hear us yet?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. So, we'll continue to tap dance.
Dave!
I'm not sure the problem is we're not speaking loud enough.
All right. Never mind then. Just trying to help.
Well, maybe we should play the Biden clip that you were just referencing.
The MSNBC thing?
Yeah, I think that'd be...
all right. Yeah. Listen carefully for the sound he's making. Here it comes.
Okay.
As they wrap up the segment together.
All right.
And Biden gets up inexplicably.
Okay. We might have to act it out. I don't know. No? Okay.
We don't have that either.
I have no idea.
Is there anything?
I don't think the phone lines are working. I don't think the computers are working. I don't think the video is working.
Well, that's perfect. That's a good way to do it.
I thought Clarence Thomas summed up the affirmative action case perfectly in his
did you?
Words there. Yep, there it is. Take a look there, because I think that is everything you need to know about affirmative action. And from
Clarence Thomas, the court sees the university's admissions policies for what they are: rudderless, race-based preferences designed to ensure a particular racial mix in their entering classes. Those policies fly in the face of our colorblind Constitution and our nation's equality ideal. In short, they are plainly and boldly unconstitutional. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I wrote separately in Grutter, explaining that the use of race in higher education admissions decisions, regardless of whether intended to help or to hurt, violates the 14th Amendment. In the decade since, I have repeatedly stated that Grutter was wrongly decided and should be overruled. Today, and despite a lengthy interregnum,
I don't know.
A lengthy interregnum? Yeah, I hate lengthy interregnums.
I had to get cream for that.
The Constitution prevails. I write separately to offer an originalist defense of the colorblind Constitution, to explain further the flaws of the court's Grutter jurisprudence, to clarify that all forms of discrimination based on race, including so-called affirmative action, are prohibited under the Constitution, and to emphasize the pernicious effects of all such discrimination. Really good.
Yeah.
That's just really, really nicely put.
Yeah.
He's got a way with words.
He does. He might make something of himself.
He might. I mean, if he applies himself, and he really puts his nose to the grindstone, he could be somebody.
Yeah, he could
someday.
Now, Robert Kennedy Jr. Tweeted out after the affirmative action ruling something a little different than Clarence Thomas. Yeah, a little bit.
That's weird.
RFK Jr. Tweeted out, regarding the Supreme Court banning affirmative action in higher education, I know many Americans feel that purely race-based decisions are unfair. However, this feeling misses important context. The effects of racist policies going back centuries are now self-perpetuating.
Jeez. Good gosh, let it go.
Affirmative action understands this and uses race-based policies to undo the effects of racist policies. Colorblind admissions tend to favor those who are already in the circle of privilege. Ugh. It favors those who grew up in affluent, educated households.
Is there a single Democrat who has a brain? Is there one who's not a racist douchebag? Is there one?
Wouldn't you like to invite in those who have been left out in the cold?
No. If they can come in of their own free will and their own power, yes. Come on in.
I mean, that's drivel.
The water's fine. Yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage. It's again playing the victim card. They're still victims. They're still victims of slavery, and I guess they forever will be. So there's no end to this. There's never an end to this.
No, I mean that's the whole deal with reparations, right?
Because once you pay the reparations, that's not going to be the end.
No way.
You think that's just going to placate everybody?
No, not a chance. But my point is that that's their argument, is that it's a never-ending thing.
I know it's the never-ending story.
It's built into their DNA, and it's our fault,
right? That's right.
The tweets underneath RFK's take on this, like, I love Jeff Michaud, and you're out. And then let's see here.
That's nice.
John,
simply put.
Yeah, John Schlichter says, this is why I never would have voted for you. You're still a leftist at heart. And then I like this one from Jeffrey Miller. This tweet just cost you the support of every principled, centrist American who thought you were kind of cool last week.
Yeah. Good stuff. I mean, you knew he was going to show who he really is.
Had to, because that's who he is.
It's who he is, yes. His policies on many things have not changed.
No.
While he's attractive in some ways, he's butt ugly in others. And, I mean, there's just no way that a conservative could really vote for him. In good conscience.
No.
I don't think so. I mean, unless you're trying to just defeat, like Keith is talking about, going to the open primary and voting for Biden.
Or against Biden.
Against Biden, yeah. And for RFK. That'd be, I don't care about that. That'd be fine. We got to get rid of Biden somehow. Jeez.
Please.
Like I said, I would like to throw a party that Biden is on his way out in March, as opposed to waiting
the
until
guy
November.
throws the
Wouldn't that be
Supreme
nice?
Court, the president of the United States throwing the Supreme Court under the bus yesterday. Then he made the comments, the abortion comments. I mean, the guy is
hideous.
An interesting man.
So he's an interesting man.
Interesting man.
Yeah,
that feels like a future bingo square setting up there.
Joe Biden is an interesting man.
He's an interesting man.
I'm your nightmare.
Yeah, that too.
And no
that
kidding.
Too. I don't know. It's agonizing, the leftists and their racism. I mean, there is no way they think that black people can get by on their merit, and Hispanics can't get by on merit, and it's just so awful, and it's so insulting, and I'm so insulted for people of color on their behalf. I hope, but I don't think the vast majority of them are, but they should be.
Yes, they
should be. Because the prevailing theory is what's her face said. What was her name? The woman who was so incredibly racist.
Oh, Marsh. What was her name?
Marsha. Is it Marsha?
Marsh.
Yeah,
Erica Marsh.
Just terrible. I mean, what are you saying, that no blacks could ever get by on merit? Holy cow, that's just
and let's keep in mind that this was brought on behalf, at least in the Harvard case, Asian American students
are being denied.
Right, here are the Harvard admission rates.
Okay,
just a few years back. Let's see. It's hard to kind of get a number out of this, but it looks like about 58% for blacks
are admitted.
Yeah. Hispanics, about 35%. Just under 20 for white students. And looks like about 13 or 14 for Asian students. And here's what I'm trying to decipher right here. You can see the top. You might want to zoom in on that one. So these are the black student rates. And then, what did I say? Hispanic is these dots. The red dots that you're seeing down there, those are the admission rates for Asian American students that have applied at Harvard.
Well, we had that story about the Asian American. Was it last week? Week before? The kid had a 4.6 GPA.
Right.
4.6 GPA. And he scored 1590 out of 1,600 on the SAT. And he got turned down at every Ivy League school he applied to. I mean, he had all kinds of accolades. He had all kinds of extracurricular stuff going on. He had unbelievable, like incomparable grades.
What was
and
his last
scores
name?
On tests. He was Asian.
Yeah, but was it obvious when someone pushing paper at Harvard?
Yes.
It's an Asian.
It was clear he was Asian.
Yeah.
And so Harvard turned him down. Yale turned him down. Princeton. I think Columbia. And then Stanford turned him down. He couldn't get in to any of the nation's elite colleges because he's Asian, and they've got too many of them already. No.
What does he have against a trade school? That's what I'd like to know.
You should ask him. We should track that guy down and say, hey,
what's the problem?
Yeah, why haven't you applied to like Montana Tech? What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
You ever been to Butte?
Have you
been to Butte, Montana? It's beautiful.
Everybody needs a good mechanic, bro. Okay.
Montana Tech, huh?
Montana Tech in beautiful Butte, Montana.
All right, hang on. Yeah. We're going to play a little trivia game here.
All right. And I'm guessing the tuition is not that steep.
Right.
What is the nickname of Montana Technical University?
The Miners.
I mean,
they're the miners.
Well, it's the ore diggers.
Oh, they're the
ore diggers.
That's pretty cool. O-R-E,
pretty close.
D-I-G-G-E-R-S.
I thought they were miners.
They may have used it because their logo is, I mean, this
digging ore.
This guy is.
That's what they do in Butte. They
look at this
dig
guy.
ore.
Look at that.
Yeah.
How cool is that mascot?
Oh, that's a good mascot.
How is that? I mean,
that's pretty good.
I like
for
that.
an NAIA school. That's not bad at all. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's Montana Tech.
It's Montana Tech. Yeah. All right. Let me just tell you about Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Then we'll get to Flat Earth Dave coming up here in a minute. I think we finally got it worked out.
Awesome.
Is that true? We have it worked out? You can purify the air in your home. You can get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air and eliminate odors. You can kill mold and mildew and bacteria and viruses, and it's so great. And there's no filters to change. You just plug this thing in, you turn it on, and you're done. It's so easy to install. It's great. There's no installation. You just plug it in. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm uses oxy technology. That sends out O3 molecules into the air, which seek out and destroy all the pollutants in your home. So, maybe you just cooked fish, salmon. Man, I hate it when that sticks around. It used to stick around in our house for, I don't know, a week, it seems like. And it just makes me ill. I mean, I don't mind salmon that much. I'll eat it but I don't want to smell it for 5 days afterwards. That's where Eden Pure thunderstorms come in. Yeah, get 3 of these for under $200. Really amazing. Use the offer code PAT, and you're going to save $200. With this special offer, 3 units under $200. Go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code PAT to save $200. That's EdenPureDeals.com, discount code PAT. You'll get the shipping for free. All right. It is one of our Friday shows where we take a look at some things that maybe are out of the ordinary. One of those things, perhaps, is people who believe that the Earth is flat after all of this time. Dave Weiss is one of those people. Flat Earth Dave, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey,
thanks
Dave.
for having me. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
We're good?
Yep, we
about
got
time.
you. We got you.
Excellent. So I just want to start out by saying, do not believe anything I say. I want you to verify this stuff yourself, because this is how the world has gotten into this crazy situation that we're in. People just believe anything they hear, especially if it comes from a guy in a white lab coat and a bow tie, right? So don't believe anything. I want to point out, some things that you never even thought of.
I'd like that.
There you go.
All right. That sounds great. So lay out for us. First of all, let me ask you this. When did you decide in your mind that the world was not a sphere? It wasn't spherical. It was flat. Because we're all taught right away in school the theory that the Earth is spherical. It's a globe. And so when did you sort of discount that theory and come up with the Earth being flat?
Short story, I was doing a conspiracy podcast back in 2014, and people started sending in flat Earth stuff, and I just, like any smart person, would just ban them from ever commenting again because they're too dumb to listen to our podcast.
Right. Okay.
And then finally I was forced by another researcher, Dave, you have to look at this. So I started watching some videos. Now, I don't where'd you learn that? At YouTube? No, YouTube's a resource for good stuff and bad stuff. And I went in with the attitude trying to debunk flat Earth, trying to prove the globe, and that's how you get here. When you think of flat Earth, people think of a disk floating in space. This is what Google feeds you, right? This is from the Flat Earth Society. The Flat Earth Society is not flat Earth. It's a government-run disinformation site to make you laugh at flat Earth.
Really?
Okay?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I didn't realize that.
They say, so people are like, well, gravity, the Earth is rising at 9.8 meters per second. No flat earther believes that. Only globe believers believe, flat Earth believers believe that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dumb people like me.
So if we're not and people are like, well, what are we, the only flat planet out there? Well, those lights in the sky, we can get into that. They're just lights in the sky. We don't know what they are, but they're provably not what they say that they are, right? We're not a disk floating in space with a bunch of globes. That is two false models mixed together. Whenever you see, mainstream media talking about it, they show this. This is not flat Earth, right? So get the idea out of your head what flat Earth is and what it's not, right? Most people don't know about your solar system. In your solar system, Pat, do you know how fast the Earth is rotating at the equator in the globe model?
It's pretty fast, isn't it?
It's 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah,
1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So when you're watching the sunset on a nice calm day, the sun appears to be going away, but in your reality, you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, which is making the sun appear to go down. While that's going on, you're going in an elliptical orbit around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. A funny number that shows up a lot in the heliocentric system. And then we're also chasing the sun at a 500,000 miles per hour. Okay, 500,000 miles per hour. Let me just put those into perspective for you. This is called the hypersonic sled track. Anybody could look this up on YouTube. You get this exact video, and it goes by at Mach 8.6. The sound when you hear it is shocking. Okay, you have to believe, if you believe in the heliocentric system, that we are going 10 times faster than this around the sun in a curved orbit. Now, like an airplane, which is enclosed, flying straight and level at a constant speed, we are curving, and curving is acceleration when you go off your linear line of angle wherever you're going. So we're going 10 times faster around the sun and chasing the sun 100 times faster than this. You can't even conceive of that. But when you go out into nature, your common sense shows you this. What does this tell you? Common sense, God-given common sense, says this is a stationary, enclosed, contained water. Water needs containment. Large bodies of water need containment, and when they're contained and at rest, they lie flat. And we can measure we can measure how far we can see. On a globe, you're required to have curvature. This curvature is hiding my mouth right now if you're watching the video, and it's a physical curvature. But with our today's consumer optics, we can zoom in on things that should be behind miles and miles and miles of curvature. And we can see them. The fact that we can see too far is all you really need to know that we are not on the globe that they tell us. This is a picture right here from a mountaintop. Now, yes, while you're on a mountaintop, you can see farther on a globe. Same thing on a flat Earth. The higher you are, the farther you can see because of your angle. But we can see all of these mountaintops over here, and the tops of these mountains should be over 40 miles below the curve. Okay? We can see this. You know what mainstream science says about this?
What?
They won't touch it. They won't address it. They won't look at it. They won't even respond to us at all, because this absolutely proves, the only thing you can say is, well, refraction. All of these mountains are 40 plus miles below the curve, but they're all refracting up and magically stopping at eye level. That's ridiculous.
Okay, so Pythagoras, Aristotle, Copernicus, Galileo, Isaac Newton, Einstein, Stephen Hawking, they were all wrong. All of those guys.
Stephen Hawking was, how long do people live with ALS? You know the longest person to live with ALS? It's like 3 years.
That's kind
Stephen
of a
Hawking did it for 50.
50 years, yes.
Did it for 50, right? And they never upgraded his voice changer. Right? Come on. We have voices that you can't even...
That's awesome.
So we've stumbled into another conspiracy theory about Stephen Hawking.
God, Stephen Hawking was actually a puppet. Okay, an actual puppet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
An actual puppet?
An actual puppet.
I'd like to delve into that, actually. That's awesome.
I know. We can really get sidetracked on that for a while.
That might be our next Friday topic.
I mean, literally like a Muppet puppet? Literally?
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's
if you go back,
awesome.
we have videos where the guy's going, Stephen, blah 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 blah, and he goes, and the guy is like, and he's translating like this incredible text. I'm like, this is just a puppet show to laugh at.
Oh man,
I love that.
All right, how do you explain a lunar eclipse? Because if your theory is right and the Earth gets in the way of the sun, between the sun and the moon, there should be a straight line across the moon, right?
Yeah.
But there's not. It's curved. Yeah.
So the thing is, when you're assuming that the Earth is casting a shadow on the moon,
yes,
right? The Earth is 250,000 miles away from the moon. Take a basketball, get a single source light, or even a sunlight, and put the basketball on the ground and look at the perfect crisp shadow. Now lift it up. When you're 5-10 feet away from the ground, you can't even see the shadow anymore. It completely diffuses, right? So you can't have a perfectly smooth shadow of the Earth going and hitting the moon. And the other thing is a little more complicated to see, but when you cast a shadow from a spherical object onto another spherical object, it gets distorted. If you eclipse a ball with another ball, its shadow comes in as a parabola. It widens out and then it leaves as a parabola. That's actually just physics. Now, if you took a straight edge, it actually comes in on a beautiful curve. I'm not saying that the Earth is a straight edge that is eclipsing the moon. I think the eclipse of the moon is something completely different. I have a complete section on my app. It's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app called Eclipses. It's hours and hours and hours of information, but if you watch that, you'll understand that eclipses actually prove the flat Earth.
You gave me a demonstration when we talked, Dave, and it's good to see you and hear from you again. But you gave me a demonstration about the sun and the moon on your dial. You had that for me, and do you have that today? Because it pretty much shows what we're talking about.
What did I show you?
The sun and the moon going around.
Yeah. So here's how it works. Our this is a top-down look at the Earth. The sun goes around once every 24 hours, okay? And the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. So wherever the sun is, it's noon. And now the sun will lap the moon every 29 days or thereabouts, okay? And so the moon, its position and its phase keep track of the weeks and the months. And the stars, if I turn on the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. Where's the stars? Come on. Of course, the stars won't fire. Oh, that's because I'm hitting the wrong button. If you hit the right button, it works. The stars go slightly faster than the sun. So think about this. The stars and the sun are moving around the same speed, but the stars are going slightly faster. So that means that the sun will drift backwards through each zodiac about a month at a time, and then it'll reset. 365 times around, the stars lap the sun. That's how the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. The sky is the perfect clock. This is crazy. Think about this. The finest watch in the world, what does it base its time on? How do you know a watch is accurate?
What, the atomic
clock?
Yeah.
It's all based on what we call the sky clock, okay? The sky is the most perfect clock. The sky tells us the time. Right, the sky is an absolute perfect clock, but the sky in the heliocentric model is held together by gravity. This is called the three-body problem. You take any three bodies and you put them into orbits, and they go into chaos mode, and no computer can figure out what it's going to do next. They can do two bodies, and they can figure that out, but if you put three or more, it just goes into a random pattern. Right, so we have all of these planetary alignments and all of the stuff whizzing around in that spiral I showed you before. And somehow, all of the stars reset. I want people to go out tonight, take a picture of the stars at a certain time, put that picture away, put a note in your alarm for next year, same night, same time, to do the same picture, and then compare them. Every star will be in the exact same position. Does that sound like we're corkscrewing through a heliocentric beehive? Or does that sound like the sky is all the stars are fixed in their positions? The stars haven't moved ever in all of history.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
We're corkscrewing.
Since we're on the stars, why is the sky different in the southern hemisphere than the northern? If we're flat.
Okay, very good question. So now, in the heliocentric model, stars are infinite distances, and that's actually provably false. In the flat Earth system, we don't claim to know what the stars are, but we claim that they're close. They're within the Earth system. So, Pat, let's do an experiment. You and I are in a room, just a regular room, 10-foot-high ceilings, and all of the recessed lights are random patterns. And we can look up and go, oh, there's a bull and there's a starfish. Okay. And then now we're going to expand that room to 10 miles wide. And you say, you know what? I'm going to go for a walk. And you walk 5 miles away. Now, if you've ever been to Las Vegas and looked down a hallway, you can't see the other end of the hallway because the ceiling and the floor merge. Okay? Right? Yeah. So you're 5 miles away. I can't see you because the ceiling and the floor merged at like a quarter of a mile, not even. Okay? So I yell, you can't hear me because my sound spreads out. Right? So you call me on your cell phone. You say, Dave. And I'm like, hey, look up. Can you see that bull and that starfish? And you look up and you see completely different lights in the ceiling. Therefore, in globe world, that floor of that room is spherical. You're looking at completely different lights. I can't see you. I can't see the lights that you're under. So you walked out south. In the flat Earth model, north is at the center. And south is every direction away from the center. Every direction away from the center. Okay. So south brings you, every straight line brings you to Antarctica. So let me just jump. The next question you're going to have is maybe about circumnavigation. How's circumnavigation done? So here's a map. Here's a flat Earth map. We got our magnetic center. So my compass points to the center, no matter where I put my compass on here. So if my compass is a boat or a plane, I'm trying to go west. And I have to keep turning to maintain my heading of west. West is right here on the compass, right? Because that needle is always going to point to the center. West is a circle around, and east. Look, I'm going east. East is not a straight line, but this doesn't prove the Earth is flat because it's the same on a globe. Okay?
Yeah.
It's the same on a globe, except in the south, you'd have to turn the other way. Now, if I try to dead reckon west, so here's my compass, it's pointing west. I'm going to point that stick west, and if I follow the stick, immediately I'm heading south.
Okay, hang on a second.
South.
We're up against a break here. Hang on, we'll let you finish coming up here in a second. Wow, interesting stuff from Flat Earth Dave. We'll get into more of it, and I got more questions for him that I think he probably has answers for.
Yes, he does.
Coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
All right. Since we were talking about the reaction to Flat Earth, Dave. And, it's going to be hot and cold, right?
Yeah. Right.
But it's nice to take a break from the madness of the world for a minute and just talk about something. To me, this is really interesting.
And we gave you a little
really
madness.
Fun. And yes, we'll probably have more madness before the show is over. But for now, we're talking to Flat Earth Dave because he believes the Earth is flat. And apparently it started in, I think you said 2014, right, Dave?
Well, that's when I came across it. It's been around forever because the Earth is flat. Before we just continue, I just want to throw in a couple things. I don't believe the Earth is flat. I know the Earth is flat.
Okay.
All of the people that are freaking out there, they believe the Earth is a globe, but they can't come up with a single reason. I offer 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof, and no one has been able to even come close to coming up with one yet. Right? Here's the thing. As I said at the beginning, do not believe me. You need to listen to your insides and take a look at the information because belief is easy. You believe anything you want and your day's over, right? But if you want to know something, it takes time and effort and critical thought, and we're all taught to be lazy, right? The lazier we are, the more popular it is. I mean, think about DoorDash. DoorDash. Right? Not only do you not have to shop or cook or clean, you don't even have to get off your couch to get your fast food. Okay? Dumbest thing ever. Right? Most lazy thing ever.
So let me ask you this: you were talking about how far the moon is, and you believe the standard theory on that it's about 250,000 miles away from us, right?
No, I do not.
Oh,
I
you
believe
don't.
The moon is right in our sky, just as we see it. Go out when we're approaching a full moon, and hopefully there's a couple spotted clouds. You'll see that the moon only lights up the clouds that are right next to it. If the moon was 250,000 miles away, it would light up all the clouds. Okay, if it was able to reflect light back. I mean, when you do the math, and I try not to do the math because people short circuit, but as something gets farther away, it inversely gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. Every time you double the distance of something, it's 1/4 of the brightness, right? For us to see the moon so bright where it casts my shadow on the ground, where I could read a book out, in the middle of nowhere with moonlight, the moon would have to be 60 times brighter than the sun from 100 miles away, right? If you do the math, it would have to be that bright for us to see it, the brightness that we see it. This is actual science. This is actual math, but no one ever does it because we're not taught to deal with large numbers.
So tell me in miles how far the moon is.
238,000 miles, right? But think about this.
Right. No, to you. How far do you think it is?
I don't think the moon is a physical object, and I think we all see it in a different position relative to our own. I think it's it literally is like a again, I don't claim to know what the moon is, but it's provably, camera, you zoom in on the moon and focus on the moon, and then you can focus on a star without changing the focus. That tells me that they seem like they're the same distance. I don't know what the moon is.
How far is the sun?
To know what the moon is. They tell us it's 93 million miles away. I think they tell us the sun is 400 times bigger than the 400 times bigger than the moon and 400 times farther. Therefore, they look like they're the same size. Or maybe they're just the same size. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, think about this. In a heliocentric world, you have a total eclipse of the sun. 400 times bigger, 400 times farther, flying through this crazy spiraling universe. The chances that they would line up perfectly, like precision quarters, is so infinitesimally small that you can't even calculate it. But then for it to happen again, that would be like winning the Powerball again and again and again and again and again. But there's eclipses every year.
Well, but that's the way God planned it. Do you believe in God?
I believe that there is a creator 100%.
Okay.
And this is an intelligently designed system. And the thing is, the eclipses repeat every 18 years. The whole cycle of eclipses repeats every 18 years. That doesn't sound like a gravitational heliocentric model. The heliocentric system, people are like, well, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. That's what we've all been programmed to say. Okay? Heliocentric system is hiding the creator. It's hiding your true power. It's hiding your true location, where you are. It's hiding more resources. It's hiding everything. It's the people that are running this world. Who are they? We can talk about that. But they're the ones that they hate God. They hate people. They think of us as useless eaters, and they want us working for them as their slaves. They don't want a well-intelligent society. They want a society of good workers.
90% of us are going to agree with you on that particular part of it. But I remember talking to the Flat Earth Society president. This was years ago. And
not real.
I believe his belief was that the sun was 37 miles from the Earth. Is that approximately what you think?
That's closer than 93 million miles because we can actually prove that 93 million miles is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Think about this: if the sun in the heliocentric model, the size that they tell us, if it was a mile over your head, it would fill the entire sky. Right? It's so gigantic; it would fill the whole sky. Right? Mm-hmm. So we move the sun 93 million miles away, and because of perspective, it gets smaller. Right? It gets smaller, and now it's the size of a coin held at arm's length. Right?
Right.
So. We go from this to this just by moving it 93 million miles away. If we moved it another 93 million miles away, how much smaller would that get?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot smaller. And then if we moved it, doubled that again, it would be so small it wouldn't be able to see. But if we doubled it again, so now it's 8 times farther. So. Well, forget that. But 8 times farther, that's called a light hour. 1 light hour, because it's 8 light minutes away. 8 times 8, 64. We'll call it a light hour.
Yeah.
At a light hour, I propose that you couldn't even see the sun. Okay? This is what NASA says the sun looks like from all the different planets, right? Here's Earth. Here's Earth right here, right? Jupiter, it's pretty small. And then it's like you can't even see it out here, okay? But we're told that we can see Polaris at 433 light years away. Polaris, our most important star, the one that doesn't move. Okay, 433 light years, and now astronomy is like, well, you know what? We could be off by 100 light years. 100 light years. Okay, light years are ridiculous. Think about this: the closest star. Pat, there's a lot of information to take in.
It is.
The closest star, excluding our sun, if you want to call that a star, is 4.5 light years. That's 25 trillion miles, right? And here's where people's brains shut down. They don't understand what a trillion is. Oh, we're in trillions of deaths. Oh, trillion this, trillion that. Okay. A trillion seconds, Pat. Do you know how long a trillion seconds is?
Something like 33,000 years.
You're the first person that's got it right. 31,000 years. Now think about that. A trillion seconds is 31,000 years. I think that's longer than the Earth has even existed. Okay? So if we wanted to go to the closest star, we're traveling at a mile per second, which no one has ever gone that fast. And we went for 31,000 years. We're only 1/25th of the way there. Okay? We got to do that 24 more times to get to the closest star.
Right.
And people want to believe in aliens coming from outer space, right? Scientifically impossible, vacuum outer space. There's so many things. We're not taught about the globe. We're not taught about any of this stuff other than just little pieces of information that make you laugh at flat Earth. But once you understand what the heliocentric model is, you're like, nope, that doesn't make any sense at all.
So why the hoax? Why are they doing this? Obviously you don't believe the photos. You don't believe the videos. You obviously don't believe we've been to the moon. So what? Why are they doing this? What is the point?
I'll answer that. Since you mentioned photos, I'm going to show you 3 photos. Ready? Here we got
Morgan Freeman.
1, 2, right? I'm not sure who this guy is, and that.
Yes.
One of these photos is fake. One of these photos is fake.
Okay.
One of these photos is a painting. Can you figure it out?
Jim Carrey.
I would guess the guy in the middle.
So the other 2 are real then.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all fake. They're all paintings. It was a trick question because when we're showed photos of Earth, we're told that they're real. Okay, we're told that the photos of Earth are real, but when you actually look at them, right? I'm trying to talk and navigate. When you actually look at them, you realize that it doesn't make any sense. Hold on, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Right. This is actually another painting, not a photograph. Okay. Right. And then NASA shows us these are images of Earth. how do I pose the question? Which one is fake or which one is real? Because these are all photos from NASA.
Right.
Okay. This one is the blue marble, which was on everyone's iPhone. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And when it first came out, and they admit that it was made in Photoshop. Right. Here's the 2012, 2013. Look at the United States. I mean, I guess we're getting thinner. We're not getting fatter.
Yeah.
In 1 year, look how much smaller the United. But these are from NASA, right? Not a space agency. Okay. When you actually look at their stuff and measure it, okay, we can't go to space and measure, but we can drive across Mexico and Baja, and we can measure it. It's 934 miles. We could actually confirm this. So they tell us the diameter of the Earth, a straight line through the Earth, 7,917 miles. I should be able to fit 8.5 of these line segments in between these two lines, right? I can barely fit 3, okay? And so this shows us that this is not real. This is fake. This is all you need, right? This is all you need, right? And then they show us, if you compare it to a map of the world, this is what they're showing us about this area. All of this land, everything is on the other side of this ball, right? Okay? This is NASA, right? Here's another one from NASA. This is what they're showing us. This is, look, we got the Euphrates or whatever that is. I got my geography a little wrong. And all of this is on the other side of that ball. Okay. Yeah. If this doesn't make sense to you, it's because you have common sense, right? you actually have common sense, right? And then everyone remembers the blue marble. This was on everyone's iPhone. This is indoctrination. But when you zoom in, you could see these clouds are stepped and repeated. Same clouds again and again and again. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the guy that made it, Robert Simon, a NASA visual artist, in an interview, he said he made it from data and he made it in Photoshop and he used Command X a lot. Yeah. Okay. He made it to make it look like what people wanted to see.
Wow. I've actually read that. Yeah. That's a very interesting quote from that guy.
Okay. Before the break, we were going to get into the circumnavigation of the planet, which I don't think you believe in either, right? Magellan didn't circumnavigate. Of course, Magellan died before he would have circumnavigated, but nobody has
gone all the way around the Earth.
Well, hold on. No, not correct. No? Not 100% correct. Okay. On a globe. So we got our south at the bottom, our north at the top. Mm-hmm. You can circumnavigate around the equator. That would be east to west. Look, that's what Amelia Earhart did. She went east. This is east. Remember, the north is here, so your magnet's always going to point toward your compass is always going to point towards the north. Mm-hmm. This is east. She went all the way around. Whether she went east or west, you can circumnavigate east and west on a ball and on a flat Earth. No difference. Doesn't prove either. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. On a flat Earth, you cannot go south and pop up over here. That doesn't happen. But on a globe, you can. On a globe, you can go south and come right back up. Guess what? Nobody's ever done it. No one's ever circumnavigated south.
Oh, okay. So they have gone east and west, or
east and west,
but
are
not south and then around and back up north.
Yeah, no one's done it. And there was a pilot called the ZQ pilot. He was going to do this trip from the north down south and pop up around the bottom of the Earth, and we could track him. We're like, all right, this is back in like 2014, 2015, and we're like, all right, this is good. Let's check this out. And here is the path that he took, right? So he went from the north, he went down to Alaska, California, went out to these islands, here, Santiago. And then he went here, supposedly the South Pole, and then they go, oh, the weather's too bad, we're just going to go this way back up through Brazil, okay? And we're like, all right, well, he didn't do it, huh? Right? And if you look at that on a flat Earth, it was here, he just went here, and then turned around and came back, okay? That's all he did. Guess what? Guinness Book gave him the world record for south-north circumnavigation.
What? Really?
Wow. They gave him the world record.
And what was the guy's name? I need to look that up. What was his name?
It was called, if you look it up, it's called, just look up North-South Circumnavigation Spider Tracks.
Huh, okay.
Spider Tracks.
So, and you said supposedly Antarctica. Does that mean you don't believe there is an Antarctica?
Well, I believe that there is in Antarctica. Large bodies of water need containment. Think about this. A bathtub, you can have a tub of water, but if the tub is gone, the water's gone. A pond is just a bigger basin, and the land is higher than the water consistently around the edge, so that contains the water. A lake is a bigger pond. The world oceans are just a bigger containment. So, oops, that's not what I want to show you. Hold on. So here is our world, right? We got Africa, South America, America, right? And this is the shoreline of our world. This is the shoreline of our world. It is Antarctica. Antarctica is supposed to be a continent at the bottom of a ball, and it's about 10 or 13,000 miles around. Everyone that's tried to circumnavigate it, the last one was Captain Cook. It took him 3.5 years. He went over 68,000 miles. Now, the equator on the ball is only 25,000 miles. How did he go 68,000 miles around Antarctica? Okay? That makes no sense. So getting to the why, because I don't want to run out of time. Well, no, he went around, but he went all the way around here.
So you think he went around the
1,000 miles.
Wow.
Okay.
Huh. So somebody has circumnavigated the flat Earth then.
Absolutely. Well, you can't circumnavigate something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So the globe has not been circumnavigated. The flat Earth has been circumnavigated, but you never can go south.
Huh.
No one has gone south. No one's gone from Santiago and popped up in Australia or New Zealand. Okay? No one's ever done it. Right? So here, how do you hide the flat Earth? And what this is the why. This is the why the lie. And if I could find what I'm looking for, this one I'm looking for. Okay, what is that? Okay, sorry. So if you can, if you had a wild tiger as a pet and you had him on a 1/4 acre fenced in, he'd just be walking around that fence going, let me out, let me out, let me out. But then you put him in a safari park that was 50 miles around. Okay. He'd be pretty happy. If he comes to the fence, he'll be like, I'll just go back that way. And he's going to be pretty happy. Put a human in there. I don't care if it's 5,000 miles. Human sees the fence. They're like, I want to go to the other side of that fence. So how do you hide the fence? Okay. So what you do is you take, whoops, again, I blew my transition here. That's not what I wanted to show you. Where did it go? Antarctica.
Maybe you're right. It's not there.
Maybe it's not
it's not there. It's just not there.
It's not there. Oh,
all right, hang on. We have 1 minute, so I'll let you find that. And
we'll
come back in a sec.
So you cut out that circle, you wrap it around a ball, and you tell everyone you're not allowed to explore this white area. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's where we live right now. You're not allowed to explore this white area down here. You're not allowed to go beyond 60 degrees south. Check out my stuff. Don't believe me. FlatEarthDave.com. FlatEarthDave.com. That's where you find me and all my information.
They patrol that area, right? Around the South Pole.
100%. Yes.
They keep you going? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So can you hang with us a little bit longer?
Oh, I'll hang with you forever.
All right. Hold on. We'll come back. We'll come back for more of this, and we got some questions from you, our listeners. And if you have questions, 888-900-3393, the number to call as we continue our Freaky Friday show with Flat Earth Dave coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Good morning, American. It's Friday.
All right, we are hearing different things today.
Yeah, we are.
Which is, to me, fun and interesting. And there are people, and there are more people today. This is fascinating to me. Just read this, I don't know, the other day. There are more people in 2023 who believe the Earth is flat than 20 years ago. And is that because we've just been so beaten down with things that we don't believe? We've been so lied to by our government that it's just easier to tell us these other things, and yeah, we'll believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know. How many things are being kept from us? A million.
I mean, how many
million things?
How many years have we thought that Stephen Hawking was a real person? How many years?
Well, since like 1940 or whatever it was.
So today we find out.
We use a puppet.
We broke news.
Apparently a handheld puppet. That's interesting. Tell me that's not interesting. Because it is. It is. And he's right about ALS. I mean, the Lou Gehrig's thing, that usually kills people quickly.
Right.
He lived with it for 50 years.
I mean, Lou Gehrig actually got it.
Right. Which is...
what are the odds?
I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds? Lou Gehrig would come down with Lou Gehrig's disease.
I know.
Mind-boggling. It's a question that will never be answered. I got a couple of tweets here. And, Keith, you got some questions from
I have probably got a
listeners?
dozen questions over here that have come in from listeners. Yeah.
All right. So, Dave, welcome back. Dave Weiss, Flat Earth Dave. It's been fascinating. Appreciate your spending some time with us today.
Let me just do a quick plug here, and then I want to talk about something. Mm-hmm. This is the friend finder on my app. It shows you the people that are waking up to flat Earth. So more people believe in flat Earth now than the mind control that we've all been under. But on the app, every day there's a new featured video. And here's my challenge. Watch the featured video each day for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think you have a globe proof, send it to me for the 3 Bitcoins. But before you do, you have to hit the frequently asked questions button. And this will answer all of the questions that you're going to ask. Everything is answered here that's being hidden from you on YouTube. Every video in here is hidden from you. If you don't want to get the app, which is only $3, my YouTube channel, DITRH, it stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. All short videos. Everything's under 5 minutes. Watch a couple of those. But warning, if you do, you're going to end up being a flat earther.
Have you ever talked to Kyrie Irving?
We tried to. Kyrie knows, but his sponsors made him kind of back off of that a little bit.
I bet they did. I'll bet they did. All right. What are some of the questions people have?
Okay, so Dave, let's.
Before we get to questions, can we talk about flight routes for 2 minutes?
Okay.
Flight route.
This is real important. So we got our North Pole right here. The equator is halfway between the center and the outside. So everything inside this circle here is the north, and everything outside here. Now, any flight from anywhere in the north to the north, there's no reason ever to cross the equator, because no matter where you're going, there's no reason to cross the equator. And guess what? No flights in the north ever cross the equator. Yeah. But on a flat Earth, if you wanted to go from like Santiago to Australia, well, you'd have to kind of cross, because the south is out here, and that's kind of like a longer trip. So if we look at actual flight routes, there's a problem. Okay, so here's a flight route from Buenos Aires to Johannesburg, and it goes all the way up to Amsterdam on the globe, right? Mm-hmm. Well, this is what it looks like here. All right, that's a little weird, but let's just go a little farther. Here's one from Dubai to Auckland, and it stops in Tokyo, right? Look where Tokyo is. Why didn't it just fly here across the globe? Well, if you look at it on a flat Earth, Tokyo is right there in line. Okay, here's another one, right? Qatar to Argentina, it goes to Rome. This is where the World Cup. Yeah. They flew to Rome first, right? Why did they fly here and then there, right? Because there's no place to get gas here. They flew here to get gas, and then they went down, boom, get gas, continue. It's a straight line. There's example after example after example of ridiculous flights that don't work on the globe. And now the people will say, well, that's because they have to go change pilots, pick up other passengers. Well, there's a thing called emergency landings. They happen when somebody dies suddenly.
When there's an event on the airline. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When there's an event on the airline. So let's just look at a couple emergency landings. Here's one where they emergency landed in Seattle. They were going from New York to Hawaii, and they went like 1,000 miles out of the way to Seattle, right? They got there in no time. Like emergency, they landed in 15 minutes, okay? How'd they travel all the way over here? If you look at it, Seattle is directly on line with that. Let's look at another one. Just do a couple more, and then we'll move on. Okay. Here's one from London to Pakistan, emergency landing in Moscow. Again, Moscow is way out of the way, but it's on a flat Earth. It's right on line. It's right there. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right out of the way. Right. Again, this one from Doha to Chicago, or Chicago to Doha, stopped in Moscow. That's like 1,500 miles out of the way. No, it's not. It's right on the flight route. Okay. Again, there's emergency landing after emergency landing. This is what the last two are my favorites. Okay, from New York to Auckland, New Zealand. Right here as emergency, they flew to Fiji. Why didn't they just continue to New Zealand? And the answer is because that's not where Fiji is. Fiji is directly en route. Here's a zoom in. Coming from New York, Fiji is not over here. It's right there on the route. Doesn't work on a ball, works on a globe. Now this one is the final one. Excuse me. From Hong Kong, they were going to the UK. They ended up stopping in Germany. It was a 12-hour flight, and a family traveled together. Mother, father, small children, all sitting together. Mom dies suddenly, okay? Dead in her seat, right? So they're 4 hours into the flight. They could stop at dozens of airports along this flight route, right? Why didn't they stop? They didn't stop for 8 hours. Could you imagine sitting next to your dead mom for 8 hours? Okay, This is horrible. Mm-hmm. I make the joke like how it's hard to sit next to your mom for 8 hours. Okay, so here's the real route. 4 hours into the trip, they're over Russia. Two things in this political environment: if they landed in Russia and Russia was very helpful, that could spark peace. We don't want that. And the other thing is, why are we over Russia? Somebody might do what I'm doing and show you this is why they're over Russia, because the Earth is flat. And now after 8 hours, don't you think they should have just finished and gotten the family home? Don't you think they should have just gone, screw it. The kids are ruined for life.
Hold on. Do you think that this applies to every flight that is taken?
No. Okay. Northern flights, there's very little difference in the north. Southern flights, yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I want to ask. Because I've been in flights before where I have tracked where we are according to the little monitor there. And on your phone, you can actually still use the map app. And I've looked down and visually seen exactly knowing where I was. So I'm just saying, north. I'm talking about the United States, so that would apply there. Very interesting. Okay, so I've got two quick questions here. And I don't want to assign you this map right here, this crude drawing. Can you see this, by the way, Dave?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so somebody sent me a video one time that said that our Earth looks like this. And so this is our rudimentary, this is North America, South America, Europe and Asia, Australia, Africa. Okay, and then this is the basin like you described.
Right.
Okay. And then they suggested that, or the video they sent me suggested that there are
outer lands.
They're outer lands. That's why this basin, this ring is patrolled, and then there are outer lands there. So real quick, Dave, is this something similar to what you believe? Because I have a follow-up to it.
So here's the thing. We don't know what's beyond 60 degrees south. We don't know what's beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, but there's lots of stories, lots of evidence that there is. This is a map that was found 10 centuries old. It was published in 1918 in a newspaper in Hawaii, and it's showing like 30 some odd continents outside of this. This is where Antarctica would start, right? So let me show you something that happened with this map, which is very interesting. Okay. You know, there's ship tracking. You can track all the cargo ships in the world. And here they are. And you click on a ship, it gives you all the information. So we found a ship. We found several ships. 730 miles this ship is in from the closest port. How did it get 730 miles? And according to Google Math, that ship is 1.9 miles above sea level, right? If Antarctica is what they say, how is a ship that far in? Okay. And then here's another one. This one is 905 miles away. This is a little more zoomed out. Okay, how does a ship get 905 miles away and 2.37 miles above sea level? All right. So here's what I think is happening. So we clicked on one of those ships, and it said it was registered to the nation of Kiribati. You guys ever hear of Kiribati?
Oh yeah, that's where the day begins.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, so you have heard about it. It's out here in the middle of nowhere. Okay, middle of nowhere. So I put a pin on it so you can see it. It's a sandbar. China gave them $10 billion recently, and I think America gave them a similar number not too long ago. Why are we funding them? What is going on here? They say that it's a most important trade route. Okay, a most important trade route? Like, why do we need to stop there? Are we getting fuel? Where are they getting the fuel from? Oh, what are we getting? There's not even enough sand if they want to pick up sand. It's a tiny little atoll. And guess what? On this island, just out of coincidence, there's a Captain Cook bed and breakfast hotel. Captain Cook, the guy that tried to circle Antarctica. So they got a Captain Cook hotel. They got ships in impossible places in Antarctica, right? And then think about this. On a globe, all the time zones are lines from the North Pole to the South Pole, equally divided up, 24 lines all the way around. And you should have all these symmetrical time zones if we live on on a
globe.
world like they tell us. You got all the time zones, but then over here you got this weird time zone, and when we zoom in on it, this is a time zone. Okay, this is a time zone, right? And guess what's right here? Kiribati. In the most the most suspicious place over. So finishing up so I think that that Kiribati could be a very important trade route to the outer lands. These ships are just going out here. Now, our globe prison tells us, oh, this ship is on Antarctica. No, it's not. It's going to these other lands. Maybe there's more advanced civilizations out there. Maybe they're trading tuna fish, computer chips, weapons, children. I don't know. We want the right to go explore.
Okay, so here's my question, though. I still haven't gotten to my question. All right, so this is what it looks like right here, and this is indeed the way it is set up. And we have, I guess, what I've heard referred to as a local sun. Is that
okay?
So we're still on the same page, right?
Sure.
So if the sun is doing this, right? And stop me if this isn't right, Dave. I'm not. This is part of the question.
No, I got it. You're asking how do the lands get sun out there?
I just don't want to get too far away here and go on a 10-minute answer. Hang on a second. So if the sun is doing this number right here, and it's that close, then Is the ice, this basin, not melting? Because over here, there's enough sun to keep these lands green and warm, presumably. But yet, somehow here, it's too cold. You see what I'm saying? I'm just trying to figure out how a local sun is keeping it green here, too cold here, and then green here again.
Okay, so what if this is a really expanded, let me make this a little bigger. So if we zoom in, this could be, and this is not high res here. We're at the center. I can't reach my hand all the way over there. And each area has its own sun. Each pond has its own sun.
Okay.
Each pond has its own sun. Now, again, I'm not claiming any of this is real. There's flat earthers out there that say there's nothing beyond Antarctica. God just created this circle for us, right? I think that all of this is considered the earth in God's world, okay? Yeah. But again, I'm not claiming that it's real or not. It's scientifically possible where outer space is scientifically impossible, high pressure next to no pressure without a physical barrier. That can't be demonstrated anywhere. How do we have a high pressure Earth adjacent to no pressure when we can't do that here anywhere in a lab or in nature? You can't have high pressure next to low pressure without a physical barrier. But somehow Earth does.
Does the flat Earth theory that you're pitching here, what does that say, if anything, about other planets? Are those spheres, if we're not, or are they similar to what we would be shape-wise?
Planets, and used to be called wandering stars because that's exactly what they are. They're wandering stars. We don't know. The moon looks spherical. Sure, I actually think the moon is spherical, but I don't even know if it's physical. Okay, but you can't say what shape something is. For example, take a look at this. So we look at this and I say, that's the sun or the moon. Can you, well, maybe it is. It's sunrise, sun, moonrise. Is it spherical? It sure looks spherical, right? But in reality, that's how our eyes work. Our eyes bring everything to a point. So no matter what shape it is, we see a sphere, right? But when we bring it forward, we see that it's actually a train with all different lights on it, square lights and red lights. But we saw that as a sphere in the distance. That's at a quarter of a mile away. Okay, so looking at the lights in the sky, believing that you can see them at hundreds of trillions of miles away, and that they're all in the same position all the time in this beehive that we live in, that's just not thinking.
Okay, more with Flat Earth Dave coming up here in a second. But let me tell you about Real Estate Agents I Trust. This is where you need to turn if you're looking to sell your home or buy a home, or maybe you're doing both because you're relocating somewhere on this flat earth. These are the real estate agents you can trust. These are the ones who devote full time to this, all their energy to this, and they've got great track records. You want somebody who has sold homes because you want yours sold, right? And when you're buying, you want to get the most for your money. These are the people that will help you do just that. They've been fully vetted by Glenn's team. They're fans of the show, so you're going to have a lot in common with them. It's not going to be awkward driving around looking for homes. It's just a great way to go, and it's a free service. It's free to you. So go to realestateagentsitrust.com. The name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed. We'll be right back after this.
welcome. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393, heading into the 4th of July Independence Day weekend. Well, that's a little bit of a stretch. I guess everybody's extending this weekend to Monday.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to work on Monday, get another gig.
Right?
Because, I mean, hello, what are you doing with your life?
You're being used and abused.
Right.
That should not happen.
So we'll be back live Wednesday.
Wednesday.
But we'll have best ofs Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. Unless we fall off the edge of the earth between now and then, because that could happen. That could happen. Let's go to Rick in Maine. Rick, hi, you got a question for Flat Earth Dave?
I do. Hey, great show, guys. Good morning.
Thank you.
My question for Dave is, so with the Earth being flat, there must be a thickness to it. So just how deep is the Earth? And if it is flat, what's on the opposite side?
I like that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Rick.
Rick. Appreciate it. Dave, how about that? How thick is the Earth?
The deepest hole ever dug is just under 8 miles. It was in Russia. It was called the Kora borehole. The United States and Russia worked on it together. They tried for years to get below that depth, and they couldn't. They hit an impenetrable barrier. And on the way down, while they were drilling, they were using ground-penetrating radar that was wrong in every prediction that it made. But somehow they know what the next 4,000 miles are. That's like drilling through the skin of an apple, getting it wrong. You're halfway through the skin of the apple and knowing what's at the core. This is a meme that's in everyone's textbooks. It's not real. It's fake.
Interesting. Okay. So the answer is 8 miles? It's 8 miles.
No, I don't think. I think that I don't know. There's another firmament down there. I don't know, and nobody knows. Globe believer or ball or flat Earth believer. Nobody knows.
Okay. So we're flat. Why don't we fall off the edge of wherever the edge is, or does it extend infinitely, or what?
So imagine the flat Earth is like a lake in Kansas, 100 miles around lake. You can't even see across it. Okay, and you're sailing around the lake, and the center is the North Pole, so you can circumnavigate it east and west, making circles around it. But if you go away from the center, which is south in any direction, and then you hit the edge of the lake, can you fall off the edge of a lake?
No.
Well,
I don't think so.
The edge of the lake, we'll call that Antarctica.
Okay.
Climb up out of the lake, start walking away. A mile later, you can't even see the lake. So this is a smaller scale of the flat Earth. Let's say you keep walking and walking, and all of a sudden you find another lake. Wow, another lake. Get on a boat, go out there. That's a whole other world. That's another piece of the plane, if you will. What's a piece of the plane? A planet.
What'd you call it?
Planet.
A planet. A planet. A piece of the plane.
Okay. Let's see. We got some questions from listeners from on Twitter. Jimmy Dimples tweets, what's Flat Earth Dave's explanation for the toilets in the northern and southern hemisphere spiraling down in different directions?
Yeah, so on my app, if you go to the frequently asked questions and you click the Coriolis button, which is on here somewhere right there, Coriolis button, it'll explain. It's not true. They don't spin in different directions. It's all how the water enters the basin. I have sinks and toilets in my house that spin in opposite directions. So it's a myth, and the guys at the equator doing their little parlor trick, it's totally exposed in the Coriolis section on the app.
What about seasons? How does that work? We have different seasons on this planet, and you would think that would be a factor of our roundness.
Yeah, you would think that, but we're taught that the tilt of the Earth is what causes the seasons when we're tilted away from the sun. Did you know that during our northern summer we're farther from the sun, and during our northern winter we're closer to the sun, right? And if it was the tilt, that would mean in June here in Connecticut, when the sun is on the horizon rising, it should be arctically cold because we're 3.5 million miles farther, and it's the most tilted we could possibly be. But I can feel the heat immediately. But in December at noon, when the sun is at its highest point for the day, I can't even feel the heat. So seasons actually prove the Earth is flat. There's a whole season section here. Just watch it, and then you'll understand that they actually make no sense on a globe. They only make sense on a flat Earth.
That's great.
I can expound a little bit farther if you want a quick example.
Okay, go ahead.
Quick example is you and I are sitting out in a field and it's freezing cold. We're 20 feet apart because we want to be safe. And we're talking to each other, but our beers keep freezing, right? And then somebody comes over with a long pole 15 feet high and holds a big heat lamp directly over your head. And now you're warm, your beer melts, and life is good. Well, I say, hey, Pat, where's that light, that sun? And you point straight up. It's directly above you. But I'm over 20 feet away. I say it's over there. It's like at a 45-degree angle for me, and I can't feel the heat. Right? It's like I barely feel the heat. You're warm. That's your summer. That's my winter. Mm-hmm. Now that person walks over to me, keeping it at the exact same height, 15 feet. I'll watch it get higher and higher and higher like my summer sun, and you'll watch it get lower and lower and lower like your winter sun. You get cold, I get warm. That's how seasons work.
Okay. All right. What about satellites? Where are they?
Satellites, so believing that you can see a satellite the size of a Volkswagen, a Bug, at the distances that they tell us is absolutely ridiculous. Could you see a car 20 miles away? Right? These satellites are 250 miles away and farther. Right? A 747 flying at altitude is gigantic, but when you look at it at altitude, it's a tiny little speck. You can see it. You can't really make out the engine. If you doubled the height, you couldn't even see the plane. That's 10 miles. Right? The International Space Station is 250 miles. And you think you could see that with your naked eye? And satellites are even smaller. I have a whole satellite section here. Also, satellites are on balloons, right? And NASA controls all of the helium in the world. Did you know that?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
NASA admits they launch tens of thousands of these balloons all the time. There's balloons launched every single day carrying up to 8,000-pound satellites on them. And they're crashing all over the earth. They quickly get picked up, but everybody's got a high-def phone in their pocket, and there's tons of videos of these satelloons crashing.
The satelloons.
Okay. Is this your app? Does this look correct for your logo for your app in the store? It just has a big giant FE on it.
Can you zoom in on it? It's by Blue Water Bay. Yeah, that's my logo. Yeah. But there is a knockoff one on Google Play. The easiest that looks like my app.
Yeah.
But flatearthdave.com. The link is there for Android and Apple. So
Blue
just
Water
check
Bay.
it out.
Yeah, that's
okay. All right, we got time for one more quick segment. If you can hang with us, we'll come right back with that, and got some other interesting questions here to get into. You can't address it all, right? In one sitting, you just can't. You could spend the entire weekend on this. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. If you've got questions, you know what tomorrow is? It's the day BYU is officially a member of the Big 12 Conference.
It's also
who's coming to the big guy table.
Right, that's right.
More importantly, I might argue, it's also the start of Not Pride Month.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, those are close.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
All right, got a few minutes left with Flat Earth Dave. I will admit to being surprised. A little surprised. Am I convinced? Probably not. But still, I mean, you've surprised me, Dave. It's interesting, the things you have to say. We got this question from a listener. Silent Commander tweets, FM radio is line of sight. So when you're driving, the station fades before 75 miles. What about FM radio? If the Earth was flat, shouldn't FM signals be heard everywhere?
No, because sound, it's just like sound and light. They propagate. They only go to a certain distance. However, Marconi did I forget what year it was. He transmitted thousands of miles across the ocean. Everyone said that they couldn't do it, and he was able to transmit where there should have been hundreds of miles of curvature. But he was able. Again, light, sound, radio waves are all they all spread out. Now, microwave transmitters are admitted line of sight, but they have microwave transmitters going 300 miles, which is impossible on a ball. Absolutely impossible. Just finishing 10 seconds on the satellites.
Okay.
Satellites crash all over the place. NASA is in charge of course, of all satellites. They're in charge of all GPS. They're in charge of all international flight routes. And just like the flight routes, all of the underground sea cables, all of the fiber optic cables, none of them go from southern location to southern location. They go all the way up to the north and then all the way back down. None of them cut across the bottom of the ball. Why is that? Because they don't live on a ball.
All right. What causes the oceans to move? What's responsible for the tides?
So the tide that is a very good question, and there's a thing called tidal nodes. the where there's these points all over the Earth where there's no tide, and then the high tide and low tide circle around them. Okay, if you go again on the frequently asked questions part section, there is a tides part, but you have all of these tidal nodes, right? So everyone says, well, it's the moon that does it. When there's a full moon, there's extra high tides. Well, guess what? When there's a new moon, which is a moon, it's just not lit up by the sun in the heliocentric world, how come there's still the same? How come the tides aren't gigantic like they are when the moon is full? And I say that it's a whole electromagnetic system. Why is there no tides on freshwater? Because freshwater doesn't carry the current that salt water does. The Earth is a giant power system. It's like a big battery. The sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode. The salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge, and that's a battery, right? So if the moon was pulling on the water like they tell us, it would pull on fresh water too, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson says you got a high tide here because the moon is pulling the water away from the Earth, and you have a high tide here because the moon is pulling the Earth away from the water. This is what they say. Okay? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Like the moon is pulling the Earth away from the water. That's why there's another high tide on the other side of the Earth, which isn't exactly accurate, but that's the model they tell us. And the Earth is rotating through those two bulges. This is the official story. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Okay. I had another. I wanted to address too, because you brought up stars earlier.
Yeah.
And you fully explain to me the theory as it applies to stars. They're not there. They're just lights. You don't know what it is. It's like recessed lighting for the planet. What are stars, and how far away are they?
Again, I don't know what stars are. I think they have to do with our reality. They have to do with our life. I think stars are sentient. That's me, Flat Earth Dave talking. I'm not speaking for everybody, right? But when our consumer optics, when we zoom in, this is the star Sirius. That's kind of weird. It doesn't look like what they tell us. And then if you look at the star Arcturus, you can see with your naked eye, it looks like this. Does that look like a burning ball thousands of times bigger than the sun, trillions and trillions of miles away? Or is that something else? I'll go with something else. I don't know what it is. Okay. But that's Arcturus. You can see that with your naked eye. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? It's not a burning ball of gas in a vacuum, scientifically impossible. It's something here within the Earth system.
And again, then the planets you think are just the same thing as the stars, or just some light that you can't really explain. We don't know what it is.
You know what? They're wandering stars. I don't know what they are. I used to laugh at astrology because astronomy was the real science, and I found out astronomy is computer pseudoscience, and astrology is the real science. Do I understand how it works? Absolutely not. But there's a lot of people out there that have explained it, a lot better than I can, a lot better than I do.
Wow. Well, interesting stuff. And again, you have a lot of answers that to questions people have on your website, right? Why don't you tell us where that is again?
So flatearthdave.com, I have a thing called the Crash Course there. Turn off Netflix for a week and watch the videos in the Crash Course. They're fascinating. Don't believe anything. Just watch it and then you'll know, right? If you want something and the tips of your fingers, my app is amazing. It does tons of things. And if you hit the friend finder, let me just hit that real quick. This will show you where the other flat earthers are in your area, and you can actually contact them. You can people are using it as a dating app. They're using it as a job app, as a true friend finder, meetups and everything. It's taking a second to load, of course. Yeah. Here we go. Look at the United States. It's a little crazy, right? These are the people that just have my app, and that's only like 1% of the flat earthers out there. Flat Earth is out of the bag, and the elite are freaking out because Flat Earth shows people that we are truly powerful beings here at the center of creation and not random specks flying through an infinite universe. So back to why the lie. Why the lie is because they're hiding our true power. They want to depower us. They want us to give away our free will for government. Govern the mind. Government is control the mind. Okay? So they want us, giving away our God-given rights. The government doesn't give us rights. They can only ask us to give them away. And if we give them away, that's our fault.
FlatEarthDave.com. Go there, check out all of his stuff because it's fascinating.
One last thing, if anybody has another show like this or knows of a show that wants to have this conversation, FlatEarthDave.com, book Flat Earth Dave. We can start the conversation there.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Dave, good to see you again. Thank you.
Dave Weiss, FlatEarthDave.com.
Good stuff.
Interesting. I mean, I'm fascinated by that. That's incredible. The one thing that is kind of gnawing at me is what he said, like right at the beginning about traveling through space at 500,000 miles an hour. Is it just me that I don't think I've ever heard that claim
that we're
traveling around, that we're orbiting at 500,000 miles an hour?
What is it? I mean, I honestly
less than that.
Yeah, I just Googled how fast is the Earth moving, and came back with 67,000 miles per hour.
Okay, there you go. That's a little more like it. But it's still fast. I mean, it's fast.
It's above the speed limit, I'll tell you that.
So, gravity, keeping everything in place, he doesn't obviously buy into that.
No.
Just fascinating. Isn't that interesting? The moon, he referenced the moon many times, but also multiple times said something about it not being physical. Wait, what?
Yeah, he wasn't sure.
Not sure.
What?
Yeah.
He's not sure if it's a physical object. Really? I mean, interesting.
It is.
And my favorite part of the interview is that Stephen Hawking was a puppet.
100%. I don't care. You can try to convince me about the Earth being flat all you want.
Fine, whatever.
But Stephen Hawking.
But this is you have really exposed something now.
And I believe that to be 100% true.
The smartest, most intelligent man of the last 100 years
was a puppet.
I mean, I think of
all a ruse.
I think of the hour and what were we up to? Hour and 15 minutes that we had Flat Earth Dave on with all of his very interesting information that we'll need to go and cross-check ourselves and do our own research. Like you guys are saying, I think the most important fact we took away from today was the fact that Stephen Hawking is a puppet. And I think that's our biggest takeaway today.
Absolutely.
By far the biggest.
And I don't think Stephen Hawking was a puppet all along. I just think that they made him into a puppet.
At 19, he turned into a puppet?
Because there's no way he lived that long with ALS, right? That's the point.
I mean, I don't think there's no way. Some people do.
I mean, no, Pat. No way he lived that long.
I think
with
it's fairly
ALS.
rare to live 50 years with ALS.
Because it doesn't happen.
But all right. We got to talk about what Joe Biden said yesterday.
Speaking of
he had
puppets.
quite a day. Yeah. Speaking of hand puppets, this is Jill Biden's hand puppet, Joe, and he made the comment yesterday that he's not big on abortion.
What?
Yeah, he's not big on abortion because of his Catholic faith. He's such a
Catholic.
practicing Catholic. He's so Catholic.
Man. You think of Mass. You think of Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. When you think somebody who strictly adheres to Catholicism,
that's him.
Joe Biden, right? He said, "I'm a practicing Catholic. I'm not big on abortion." Yeah, I think that's the actual the stance the Catholic Church takes. It's official, right? I think that's their official stance. Yeah, we're not big on abortion. You can have them up until, I don't know, birth. But
well, he went on talking about the limits, right? The amount of time of banning them.
Yeah. Well, here's
okay.
The entire. Well, it's not the entirety, but here's a lot of what he said. I'm not big on abortion, but guess what? Roe v. Wade got it right. Okay. All right.
Incoherent.
Okay. Roe v. Wade cut in a place where the vast majority of religions have reached agreement. Get this. The first 3 months or thereabouts in all major religions. It's a decision left between a woman and her family. Tell me one religion, major or minor,
everyone
that believes abortion is best left to the woman and her family. Wait, come on. What? So that's the first 3 months.
The first 3 months, right.
Okay. After that, it's between the woman and her doctor. Oh, okay. So first 3 months, woman and her family.
Okay.
Next 3 months, woman and her doctor. Or it might have that flipped. Might be woman and her doctor the first 3, woman and her family the next 3. Then the next 3 after that, it's back to the woman and her doctor again.
I gotta see it.
And then he actually said, look for the actual statement because it's unbelievable. The actual statement then, he says, the next 3 months, okay, after the third trimester, the next 3 months, you can't do it. You can't have an abortion. So then, okay, so that's the fourth trimester.
Good grief.
I guess it's back to, no, you can't do it on the fourth trimester. On the fifth trimester, why then it's back to a woman and her family.
Okay. And this is ancient religious doctrine.
Absolutely. Absolute, total, all major religions believe that. and some major religions believe that in the sixth trimester, it's between you and your dentist.
Right.
Yeah.
He told the crowd that he's obviously not a supporter of abortion.
Right. Not a big supporter.
And the termination procedures in the last 3 months are not clear-cut.
Are not clear-cut. You're right.
Okay.
And I love when he throws major religions into that, because I don't know a single religion, a major religion. Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are all pro-life.
Oh, yes.
They're all pro-life. So what are you talking about? What? He just pulls this stuff out of his rectal cavity,
I love
throws it out there, and sees if it sticks to the wall.
So I happen to be a practicing Catholic.
Yeah,
so
I
happen to be a practicing Catholic.
Right.
I'm not big on abortion.
Yeah.
But
keep reading.
What?
How much of it do they have? Do they have that entire statement? Because it's really interesting. Read it.
Roe v. Wade cut in a place where the vast majority of religions have reached an agreement. We talked about that. Historically, the first 3 months or thereabouts in all major religion.
In all major religions.
That's between a woman and her doctor.
Yeah, okay, so it is the first one is woman and her doctor. The next three is woman and her family, right?
With a rare universal, the unborn child ends in the last 3 months. The next 3 months in between, a woman and her family.
Then the woman and her family. Right. So it goes from doctor, woman and doctor, to woman and family.
And the next 3 months.
The next 3 months,
back to the woman and her doctor.
Back to woman and her doctor.
Hold on. That's a quote.
The last 3 months have to be negotiated because you can't.
Because you can't.
Unless you're in a position where your physical health is at stake, you can't do it.
So now we're up to the fourth trimester. He thinks you can't on the fourth trimester.
This sounds like an opportunity for a Venn diagram for Kamala.
It sure does.
This is a mess, man.
He's a mess.
He's a
pathetic, awful, lying mess.
Just like I said earlier, he's an interesting man.
He's an interesting man.
He's an interesting man.
And I love how he just makes up doctrine for all major religions. Isn't that great? Yeah. Man, I'll never forget when I was in Sunday school and they said, those first 3 months, it's up to a woman and her doctor if they want to kill the child. Now, in the second 3 months, the second trimester, right? Then that's between the woman and her family. Screw the doctor in the second 3 months. But on the third 3 months, then it's back to being between. I'll never forget that lesson in Sunday school. It was a good one that just stuck with me. And I think I learned that initially when I was 12 years old. And
that's weird
had it ever since.
So most major religions, except for his,
he's so Catholic though that he's not excited when a woman murders her baby, but it's okay, if she decides that's the thing to do with her doctor.
I mean, the Pope even said at one point when asked about Biden's abortion policy, he was like, "I'll leave it to his conscience."
Yeah.
Way to take a stand, Pope.
Yeah, I know, right? Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
incredible.
They didn't want, when they were talking about the archbishops not giving Nancy Pelosi communion, and the Pope was like, "Well, that's that's up to you."
So it's not up to your conscience when you're a pro-life bishop who happens to be in Tyler, Texas, and you decide to go to an LA Dodgers game to protest the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence.
Right.
Then the Vatican goes and investigates you.
Exactly.
So that doesn't apply to that.
No, right.
Interesting.
Right. It's interesting.
That is interesting.
Is there a number of people can call and talk about how interesting it is? Yeah, okay.
I don't know. What's the area code of the Vatican City? Let's see. I'm going to find that out now.
I don't know. What a weird world.
It sure is.
Yep.
So in the context of everything that's going on, could you convince me that the Earth is flat? Nah.
Dave did a pretty good job, I thought.
He did a really good job. Yeah. It's interesting stuff. It
sure is.
But it's that machine gun delivery that makes it very difficult to address each and every point along the way, because he's already on to something else or 3 other things. And then you're trying to deal with those, and then you've forgotten what it was you wanted to come back to. But, okay, you were asking me after the breaks on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being I'm not convinced at all. The Earth is definitely a sphere, and I know it. And 10 meaning
you're Dave.
It's a flat Earth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where are you on that scale?
Oh, where am I?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, man, I'd probably, and it's not a cop out. It's the truth. I'm at a 5, really.
A 5?
I could go either way. Honestly, I don't believe anything anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeffy?
Oh, the Earth is flat, 100%.
No, seriously, what number are you giving it?
Seriously, no, come on.
I think I'm with Keith. Mm-hmm. I could go either way.
Yeah,
I could go either way, because when I've talked to Dave on my show, and we've talked to him here, and when I talk to him, the Earth is flat. He's right. And then I go back to covering Virgin Galactic going into space yesterday. For the first time for them. Welcome to the party.
Right.
And
we're
all going to space, and we're
Did
launching
Branson
stuff.
Go up?
No.
Oh.
No, I think he may technically have already been up with his crowd, but this was a different group.
I want someone like an Elon Musk to either take part in or provide a flight that goes from a Toronto down to Buenos Aires or something like that by going over. Let's go that way,
right?
As opposed to the crazy long ways. How about you, Pat? Where are you on?
I'm at a 0.
You're 0?
Yeah.
Still.
The Earth is a sphere.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Still.
Let me ask you a question,
The Earth is a sphere.
On a scale of 0 to 10. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What number are you at?
I'm
5?
with you.
So we're 5. Okay. Gotcha.
So on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being, no, it's not possible. 10, obviously, believing it 100%. Is Stephen Hawking
a puppet?
Was Stephen Hawking a puppet?
I want to say 10. I want to say 12. But I'm afraid I'm actually at a 0 on that as well. I'm sorry.
Come on. Man, we don't even live in America anymore. What are we doing?
No, I know.
All right, fine. I'm going to go see the new Harrison Ford Indiana Jones movie then this weekend, because nobody else.
Oh, does that start this weekend?
Nobody else will be at the theater, so I'll be fine.
Is that this
weekend?
Yeah,
it started this weekend.
That's awesome. So is it, please tell me, it's not going to be the worst movie ever done like
what they're
4
saying.
Was.
They
are?
Yeah.
Oh, they're saying this is bad too?
Yeah,
Come
really
on
bad.
now. Ah, darn it.
They talked about when they premiered it at Cannes. Harrison was there, and everybody loved Harrison, and he got all the applause and everybody around him. But at the end of the movie, everybody was like,
another disaster. Oh no, really? That's too bad.
Pat, I want to go back to the Earth thing.
Yeah.
So do you believe that the Earth is millions of years old or thousands of years old?
No, see, I'm about a 5 on that. I could go either way. Seriously. Because of, there's no doctrine in my belief system that says it's 7,000 years old. But because there's some variables we don't know. Like, where do the dinosaurs fit into that? How long were Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden?
I don't know.
Could it have been 2 years? Could it have been 200,000? Could it have been 1 billion years? I don't know. And what is the process?
Can you imagine being teased by her for 1 million
years? Yeah. Be a long time.
It would be a long time.
So here's another question I have for you. Counting this one coming up on Tuesday, how many more Independence Days will we have as a nation called the United States of America?
Oh, it'll still be called that.
Okay.
But will it be that? Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. And a depressing one.
Well, I'm proud to be.
And I don't want to be depressed today. So I'm going to say we're going to have an unlimited number of Independence Day celebrations.
Right. Be proud.
Right. Right.
Be proud of America. Be proud of your country. Stand up for it.
July is American Pride Month.
Yeah, right.
Just declared it as such.
Yes.
It's American Pride.
Thank you. Quit being such a Debbie Downer.
Right?
Who's being a downer?
I mean, look at what we have to be proud of.
Just ask a question.
Let's show Joe Biden walking off the set
Oh, this is
of
good.
MSNBC
I love this
from
guy.
yesterday. This'll...
What is he, Jeffy?
For the American, whether they voted for me or not.
You will burst
and
with
the
pride.
ones that didn't
Watch
vote for your
this.
bills but run on them.
That's right.
Mr.
You can't wait.
President,
What?
thank you.
Sit.
Thank you very
Sit.
much. It's great to have you.
Sit, boy.
Great to have you. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. It's a very exciting day around here.
Oh, my God.
We'll have reactions.
He's the president of the United States. When he's done, he's done. I'm wrapping this thing up.
A, you don't leave during the segment. Okay? I don't care who you are.
He's done this before. Act like you've been there before, bro.
Yes.
You've been doing this for 50 years. Watch this again. I think he has to go to the bathroom. He only shakes her hands. He only shakes her hand because she extends it. He's trying to get out of here. Watch this. He's just like,
He's getting up while she's still talking.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, sit down.
Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. He did not reach his hand out.
Correct.
We'll have reactions.
Okay, where's the bathroom?
Look how feeble he is, too. He looks
What an
terrible.
embarrassment.
He looks
On
absolutely...
so many levels.
The gate is a little... It's a little...
Oh, he didn't do his
less
little
than
fast arms
normal.
there to jog
He
off.
did not even try fast arms.
No faux jog. Faux jog.
he didn't.
I love the fast arms thing.
Look
at me go.
Well,
I'm so fast.
okay, well, maybe we didn't get those because he had to go to the bathroom. He's
Yeah.
like, if I do fast arms, we're
That's
gonna
when
have a
it's
problem.
over. Yeah, I didn't put the Depends on.
Hey, happy Independence Day, everybody.
Happy
That's your president.
Independence Day.
Enjoy
Indeed.
the remaining 4 that we have.
Happy 4th. We'll see you back here on Wednesday.
Not a joke.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.